Hello students, in this video we'll discuss peace, conflict and education, uh, like how peace, conflict and education are interrelated. Now people always try to establish a correlation between prosperity of the country and the education qualification of its citizens. It is generally believed that higher the rate of qualified people, higher the possibility of peace in the country. But there are certain examples which make us rethink about the possibility of peace in the country. For example, there is a country which dropped the first ever atom bomb on Hiroshima on 6th August 1945, and that atom bomb killed 78,000 people and badly injured 70,000 people, exposed most of the remaining population to some long term radiation damage and destroyed two-thirds of that city. And that city, the city which has done all this, it was highly educated one. Then there are some other examples also. The country which is characterized by the highest number of race riots, that is racial discrimination, US, America, London. Then the country which has the highest rate of crime against individual. Then also the country which allowed for training the terrorist, and the country which is most intolerant of individual dispute. All these countries are highly educated one, but still they are into all these problematic activities. In our so they may lead to social problems. So there is no positive correlation between peace and education qualification of the citizen of the country. In our country, more than the illiterate masses, it is the educated elite which plays an important role in initiating the communal riot situation. We hear of violence and destruction of public property indulged in more by university and college students than by other category of the population. In short, education by itself would not ensure peace. Then next is connotation of peace and conflict. The word peace generally is used with a reference to international relations. In fact, the primary dictionary meaning of the word peace is freedom from war. Treaty of peace between power previously at war. This is the definition of peace. On the one hand, one come across the word peace being used in a much broader sense and even loosely to refer to absence of conflict of all sort. Peace basically means abolition of conflict, and even so quiet, uh, tranquility, mental calm. There are so many different synonyms of peace. Such a usage tend to be free from any analytical meaning. In either case, the concept of peace is defined in negative terms. Now, why negative term? There are also various aspects of peace. Different types of peace are there. That is, there is lot of difference between two type of peace. One, uh, peace between uh, assured by the absence of war between nation, and the peace obtaining in the absence of barter or dispute between shopkeeper and a customer in a marketplace. So there are a variety of situations which could be designated as peace. Now, if we talk about sociological point of view, then sociologically speaking, the notion of peace and its absence manifesting in the form of social conflict, it becomes very important when it is shown to be linked to certain specific social structural arrangement and condition. This is necessarily theoretical point of view, and it implies that the problem of or absence of it can be scientifically discussed neither in complete abstraction and isolation of the other social reality nor by reference to specific orientation of the population. The line of thought emphasized that the point that, as used in both academic and popular parlance, peace, justice, equality, etc., it is a metaphysical notion, abstract value, and desired ideal, but in reality, it is a binary notion. With it, we also receive conflict, strife, and contention. It is therefore easier to recognize and study conflict or lack of peace. That is, peace, if we see sociological point of view, if we think the concept of peace as a sociological point of view, then its absence, the absence of peace, manifest in the form of social conflict. It becomes important when it is linked to different social institutions, different social structures. It is important theoretical point of view, and it also implies that the problem or absence of peace can be discussed neither in complete abstraction or isolation of the other social reality. It is basically a binary notion. That is, conflict viewpoint is very important, and conflict and peace, they both are binary notion, just as good and bad. Why do we need peace? If there is a conflict, then there is a peace. They both are there in the society, binary notions. Galton's view: social science has uncovered more knowledge about war and other conflict than about peace, and peace thinking has a tendency to become utopian and to be oriented toward the future. Thus, the tendency to crave for and talk about peace, which is something we lack. The meaning of peace is different from person to person. The history of societies across the world is full with illustration of the implement use of violence in the ruthless suppression of civil liberty in the name of maintaining peace. If we talk about conflict, then according to Marx, it is the bad side that produces the movement which makes history by providing a struggle, conflict, experience, and explanation. Apart from conceptual issue, international and intra-societal conflict are important social experience, though they are considered as unpleasant. In fact, academic concern with conflict date back to Kautilya. Apart from courses on peace studies offered in some universities, there are international institutions like Consortium on Peace, Research, Education and Development, Institute of World Order specializing in peace research. There has also been a steady flow of paper and books and never-ending series of seminars and symposia on peace. But practically, has man learned anything from 6,000 years of organized violence? You have to think. Now, what are obviously the answer is no. Now, what are the reason for this? One may ask why it is so. So, one of the widely accepted theories is instinctivism. Now, what is instinctivism? Instinctivism views conflict as a part of nature of man. According to this, it is man's nature, it is a part of man's nature that they are quarrelsome. So conflict is an integral part of man's behavior, and that is why, as I have said, peace and conflict, they are binary notion, because conflict is inbuilt in us, in our nature. We need peace. So this is how peace and conflict are interrelated. Now, context of conflict. In our country, policies are made on the basis of past and future requirement are also taken into consideration. Whatever policy we are making, government is making, they take into consideration the experiences of past, and also they see the future. And on the mixture of basis of that, they make policy. So we have to face a tough period of colonization. We have already faced the tough period of colonization, and before that, some population of our country has also faced highest level of inequality that we have discussed in another video, protective discrimination. We required a planned social change. This planned social change invited certain conflict. Now, as we have discussed in protective discrimination chapter, these when government try certain prop and launches different various reservation policies, this has affected the higher caste people. What is the context of conflict in our country? So, on the one hand, we are committed to our constitution. Our constitution talks about equal opportunity for everyone. So, if we follow constitution, then we are supposed to give equal opportunity to everyone. But at the same time, if we give opportunity to low caste people by giving them reservation, then there are opposition from upper caste people in giving the reservation in the name of protective discrimination to the weaker section of society. Then unrest on the campus. This is another form of conflict. Conflict is mostly associated with education institution via campus and students. Campus agitations are very common in contemporary time. You must have seen that many times in front of our university head office, so many agitations are going on. So their conflicts in the university campus are integral part. Most of the incident of student unrest are misdirected and they are destructive. So many students, they just join the conflict, they just join the agitation movement without knowing the context. Though many of the agitations are short-lived, but more serious development on our campus is the growing Gundism and the political mobilization of what could be called the schooled lumpens. Then media and violence. Education is not confined to what takes place within the four wall of the classroom. The mass media of communication have an important influence of people. Like for example, this video lecture. In our country, the literacy rate is low as compared to other developed countries. Here, the tradition of reading is not institutionalized as a cultural value, but there is a noticeable tendency on the part of press to sensationalize the crime and conflict. That is, we have very less people have the habit of reading nowadays. For majority, this communication is available through such media. But yes, at the same time, we are also into different social media platform like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and so many Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. So many different mass media communication platforms are there. But so less, there are very less people who prefer to read books. Majority people, this communication is available through media such as film, television, radio. In these, films are the most powerful one. How films are what impact films have. These also we have already discussed in our departmental activity, sociology and cinema, how they are interrelated. So conflict and violence are an integral part of our film, and recently in particular award function, the award for best film was given to the film which depicted senseless conflict and violence. You may have noticed there are so many films which just gain profit on the name of just one particular hero. In that there is no story, nothing, only senseless fights are there, conflicts are there. Then again, one more important reason for conflict is people nowadays are watching crime series, crime patrol, and different things. So they also cause conflict in our society. This we are discussing what are the source of conflict in our society in contemporary time. Then last is education and social change. For too much seems to be expected of our education as a peaceful solvent of all social ills and prime mover of social change. But education is seen as that it can solve all the social problems of our society. But what is reality? Education hardly rise above the socio-economic and socio-political situation in which it is embedded. Lastly, peace for all will remain a distant dream as long as the fundamental problems remain untackled and society remain untransformed. If sincere attempts are not made to resolve such problems from within the democratic framework, then the large scale conflict and violence are bound to occur. Now, I hope you have understood this video, and if you have any query, then you are free to contact me. Thank you.